There are three lovely lassies in Banyan, 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 Banyan. There are three lovely lassies in Banyan, and I am the best of them all, and I am the best of them all. For me father has 40 white shillings, 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 shillings. Me father has 40.
My favourite season is autumn, and I just like it because there's so much change happening, and leaves changing colour and leaves falling, and just there's a sense that you're kind of taking off the overcoat and getting into something new. When I was a young fella, I used to go out catching leaves, and I was only small, and Daddy would come out then and tell me to get into hell and do something useful, and he'd set me up sweeping the street or some job like that. But I still love autumn. The oldest one went to England when he was 16. Him and Daddy didn't get on great, and then the second fella, he was good at the books, and he did his leaving, and I kind of I wasn't too pushed one way or the other, and I just ended up at the farm. And of course, farming's always easy when the weather's good, and it's idyllic, I suppose, when the sun is shining. But there's lots of hard work and lots of worry and lots of stuff like that. And there's also, of course, you're tied to it, and you can't do anything else when you're farming. That's it. You're stuck for life. We used to milk cows, and when Daddy died, I got rid of them, and I thought it'd free me up a bit, and it does a bit, but it only gives you a chance to go into the town. I'm not sure if you could say I had friends as such. There's one man up the road, Peter McManus, and he'd be an older man than me, but very decent and good neighbour, and I'd go visit him a good bit. He rambles on, but he'd be a good man. I'd have a few friends that I'd meet up with in the town, and we'd go for a drink and that, and all we'd talk about would be cattle prices and whatever was going on in the town. I suppose if we had similar interests, that it'd be great, but you'd be half afraid if they knew what you were interested in. They mightn't be friends anymore. There's this competition to run in the locality for the last long time now, called the Miss Ballinacurry, and it's just a load of fellas dressing up as women, and this year they were getting short in numbers for fellas to enter it. I never entered it before, and I was asked, and of course the first thing I said was no, I wouldn't do it. And Peter, he always did it, but Peter got sick, so I kind of reluctantly entered the competition.
Had you ever worn a dress before?
I have worn dresses all my life, nearly. When I was a young fella, and I'd go into my mother and father's room, and I just, what children be doing, dressing up, and I never wanted to put on my father's clothes because he was always giving out, and so I'd put on my mother's clothes. and I just kind of liked the way they felt. So I was kind of always nipping in and out every now and again when there wouldn't be anyone about, and I'd just put on the dress and look at myself in the mirror, and it kind of changed me, and I liked the way it felt and the way I looked.
And how did you feel about doing the competition?
I was a bit worried about doing this in front of everyone and getting up on a stage, and you had to do this kind of miming act, and I was a bit worried about all that and what fellas would do, and the locals and the young fellas, and they'd be all, of course, laughing, and everyone thinks if you do something that's not normal, then you're not normal, and so I was worried about that. But when the competition started and I got all dressed up and put on the makeup, and I got a lovely dress, and I felt I was going to win it, to be honest.
The first time ever I saw your face, I thought the sun rose in your eyes, and the moon and the stars were the gifts you gave to the dark and the endless skies, my love.
Sure, of course, the local chairman of the football club, he won it. He came on in a dress and carrying a hurley and thought he was great, and of course everyone voted for him, so that was a bit disappointing at the time. But at the same time it just felt great to be out there and doing my thing, and everybody cheering, and they weren't laughing, they were, it was, I could tell that there was lots of people appreciated how I looked and what I was doing, so I got a great bit of confidence from that.
She told me she was married. She told me she had kids. She told me she's happy, so she's happy with her family. She said it would be a sin if I ever put it in, but that's not all she said. She said it's a sin, but honey, put it in. So I it's a sin,